Okay, so I think now it's getting. So today I'll be talking mostly about the importing part and the transformation part, like what all are different steps that we take once we import a data set, right? So once you get into the first report view, there is a home tab right at the top that you can see. And in the home tab, there will be one option which is get data. So you can click on that get data. There will be multiple options that will come over here. Right now, we can directly choose from CSV because I know that my data is stored in a CSV format. But if you want to have like something else, some other data source, want to connect to some other data source, you can click on the more option. Then the entire option will come in your page over here. So these are the entire options. So there is a search button also. Let's say somebody wants to connect to SQL Server. So without scrolling this or doing any kind of searching, you can directly type in here SQL Server and it will pop up over here, right? So that's a easy way to get your data source, right? So for today, like in our class, we will be mostly working with CSV files. So I'm selecting text or CSV connect. So once you click on that, what will happen? A window will open from where, so you will have to go to the place where you have stored your data set, right? So in the entire, after our course will over, I have shown you a dashboard, right? So we will be able to create that dashboard. And these are the data sets which I'll be using in our classes, right? So we have almost 10 individual data sets that is out there. Few are related to calendars, few are related to sales information, few are related to the characteristics or properties of a particular entity, right? So let's say uh, I import the first data set, which is AW AdventureWorks products. Okay, so I'll click over here and I'll open it. And this is a new Power BI that I have opened. Nothing is there in this Power BI. So we are doing everything from scratch. So once I give you the data set, you can directly open a new Power BI session and start with this particular step, right? So as soon as you click on the data set that you have selected, a preview page will open, which will look like this. Right here, what it is showing is what is the file origin. So that file is stored currently. Where is it? So it's in my Windows laptop. So that's why it's showing Windows. Then what is the delimiter? So under delimiter also you have multiple delimiter, which is comma, colon, semicolon, space, all those. So in CSV file, it's by default comma, right? So that's what is selected over here. And then data type detection means this is a default data type detection. What happens? Looking at the first 200 rows, Power BI will decide the data type of each of the column, right? So you don't have to do anything over here. You just have to see whatever you have imported uh, looks correct or not, looking at the 200 data 200 rows. And then you have to, instead of clicking on load, always click on transform data, because we will be doing few transformation. Even if there is no transformation, I would suggest click on the transform data, and if everything looks okay to you, then close and apply, right? So as soon as I click on transform data, a page will open where which this particular page is called query editor, Power Query Editor. So in the Power Query Editor, you can basically edit your data set, right? So that's why this query editor is a very important part of the report, right? Because this query editor will give you capability of doing anything, any changes to your data sets, right? So as soon as or you import any data set, there are two steps which is mandatory to do. right? Like that's a good practice to follow. First one is, as soon as you import your data set, you you see the properties towards right of the screen, right? There is a query setting and properties wherein there is a option called name. So this name is the name of the table. Why I'm calling it as a table? Because the data set that you imported is coming in the format of a table, which means we have multiple columns and multiple rows. So in any table, what do we have? Or whenever you create any table, we will have few columns and few rows in which data set will be available, right? Like all the data will be available. So this table, what is the name of this table, will reflect towards right here. And you can change the name of this table as per your need, or what you feel should be like is right and what should appear in your report. So let's say I don't change this in your report, it will come as Adventure Works products, right? So what I would do here, I will change this name to something, some name which is more uh, like it's readable, it's in readable format, right? So what I will do, instead of Adventure Works, I will write AW. Somebody has dropped. Let me quickly check. Okay, Shahnaz had dropped. Hi, Shahnaz. Can you
Hi,
hear me?
Meha. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, when did you
Okay.
drop?
Uh, just 5 minutes back, I was just checking the data. It suddenly dropped
Okay, okay.
when
Uh,
we were you were transporting the CSV file.
hmm Okay, so you have not missed anything. So once you transform, click on the transform button, right? So this
Yeah,
page will open, which is called Power Query Editor page, right?
yeah, yeah.
Wherein you can edit your data sets. You can do any kind of transformation over here. So what I was trying to tell is, once you import any data set, there are two steps that you should, that is actually good practice to follow, right? First one is changing the name of your data set, or just have a glance like if your data set name is proper or not, right? So what I am doing here is, earlier the name of the data set was Adventure Works products. To make it in a readable format, I have changed it to AW products, and I will put lookup. Why lookup? I will talk about this later on, but there are two types of tables in your report. One is lookup and the other one is data. One is lookup table and other one is data table. Lookup table is something wherein you will have characteristics of a particular entity, right? That means, let's say this table talks about product, right? We have product table wherein you have product key, product name, what is the model name of that product, the description of the product. So if you look into the columns, you will see that everything is about product, right? So that's why we are calling it as product lookup, because in this table you will not get any other information apart from the specific product, right? So similarly, we will have customer table, which will have information only about the customer, like what is the customer name, age, status, gender, all those things, right? So that is called a lookup table. I'll talk more about it when we will talk about look what is the difference between lookup table and data table and all those things, right? But for now, what we will do, we will change the name of a particular of the table that we have imported, right? So this name I have changed as AW products lookup, right? That is the first step that you have to do once you import your data set, right? The other thing is, you will just scroll this one through column headers and see the data types, if the data types looks okay or not, because this is the data type that has been default, like that has been assigned by Power BI, and this is default, right? So you have to see that is it making sense or not. If everything looks okay, then that means then you are good, right? So there are multiple data types that is available, right? We have if you click on that 1 2 3 or any number that is there at the corner of each of the column, you will be able to change it. Like you will see all the options over here. So we have decimal number, we have fixed decimal, whole number, percentage, date, time, like multiple options out here, right? Then we have text, duration, all those things, right? So when to use what? If you have numerical column, that means you have numbers, right? Then you have to choose anything as decimal number or fixed decimal number or whole number, right? If you have something like text in your column, then you have to choose text. If you have date time, then you have to choose any option between date time, right? So that's what you need to actually look into. So this looks like numerical column. So 1 2 3, which defines like this is a numerical column, which makes sense, right? Then you have text. So it has been assigned ABC, which looks okay to me. Then I will go slowly towards right, and looks like everything is, and then you see this has decimal. Last two column, product cost and product price has uh, data or values in decimals, right? So here we have decimal format 1.2, right? Decimal number. So looks okay. So then we are, if we are good with the data type, that means we can go ahead, right? So these are the two steps that should be followed. Any questions till now? Anyone?
Yeah, I mean, if
No.
it's a mixture between the string and alphabet, so which one can we use?
Yeah, so usually what happens if there is combination of alphabets and numeric, then it will be treated as a text.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So
Yeah.
if you have only alphabets, then also it will be text, or combination or mixture of alphabets and numeric, then also it will be text.
Okay.
Any more question?
No.
Okay. So so if we are good with it, I will talk a little bit about the interface of Power BI Query Editor so that you guys know like what all options are here. So if you look at the top ribbon, you have home, home tab, wherein you have multiple uh, options over here, right? So if you look into home tab, you have something as manage columns, right? Wherein you have choose columns, remove columns, right? So these are the options wherein you can select any particular column, and let's say you click on remove. So it will directly remove this column from your table, right? Then there is something called reduce rows where you can keep rows or remove rows, right? So if you click on something, some row, and click on keep row, keep top rows or keep bottom rows. So if you select on this one, then it will keep those rows in your table. So that won't be uh, dropping every time. So what happens is why we do this is, let's say you have chosen a particular column, which is called product subcategory key, right? So once you do that, once you apply any of the step, that applied step will appear over here towards the right side, you can see, right? So if you import this data set later on, right? Not right now. Let's say the data set, which is product lookup table, product table, you import it later on after the completion of your dashboard or report, then all the steps that you will be applying over here right now, let's say you have 10 steps in the applied step, that will be automatically applied to your data set. You won't be like, you don't have to apply or do all the steps every time. So once you apply those steps in your data set, and that data set is just the name and everything is same, you just have you are importing that data set just to refresh the data in your table, then those steps will be applied automatically. Okay, I can show you later on what I am talking about, but these are the few of the options. Not only these options has that capability, like any option, any step you apply, that step will appear over here in applied step. And whenever you import that data set, like the same data set I'm talking about, like let's say AW products, the same table with same number or same column, just that the rows has changed, that means the data set has changed. Once you import that, then all those steps that we will right now we will do, that will be applied automatically later on, right? So that is one thing. Then we have under home, you see we have manage columns, reduce columns, sort buttons. Sort buttons means you can sort your column ascending or descending. So you can directly choose from here, sort ascending, sort descending, right? Then there is something called split column, wherein you can, let's say you have model name or something, product name, and you want to split your product in two parts, before comma in one column, post like after comma in second column. So you can do that using a split column button, right? Then there is something called data type. So to do one particular thing, there are multiple options. As I mentioned here also, if you click, you see that there are multiple options to change the data type, right? You can click decimal number or duration. The same thing you can do from here also. Under data type, you have the similar kind of options. So even if you choose from here, then also it will work. You just have to select that column, go to data type, click here, and then choose any option. So there are multiple ways to do one thing in this Power BI dashboard, right? There is not one fixed way. You can do the same thing with multiple, like there are multiple options to do it. You can find that here, you can find it in the home tab, right? Then we have use first row as headers, right? So what does that mean? See, as soon as I clicked use first row as header, what happened? My first row became header over here, which is not right. So I will, so you can actually change, like click on the cross button under applied step, and those steps will be cleared, right? So these are the three steps that was there. So as soon as you import your data, these are the three steps that will be applied automatically, right? I will talk about these. What are these three steps? Then we have replace values. That means you can replace any values. Let's say under product SKU, we see hyphen, right? You want to replace hyphen with space, right? So you can do that using this option. Multiple options we have. I will talk about each one of these as soon as we progress in our course. But these are the few of the options that is out there under home tab, right? Then we have something called transform tab. Under transform and under add column, there are two tabs. Mostly you will see there are similar kind of options that is present, but we have two different tabs. What is the difference between options present under transform versus present under add column? Let's say format, right? Under format, if you see, we have lowercase, uppercase, capitalize each word, all these values under format in add column tab. If you go to transform tab, again we have format option, and we have lowercase, uppercase, capitalize, similar options, right? So then what is the difference? Why do we have format at two places, right? So there is a very like, these two options are very confusing, and you will eventually sometime do transform even if you want to do something else, right? So I'll talk about like what is the difference between transform and add column. Let's say you have selected one particular column, right? And you are under transform tab and you click on format, do something, anything, let's say uppercase, right? So all the text will be changed into uppercase, and that transformation happened on the same column, right? But if you go into add column, go to format and click on uppercase, what will happen? A separate column will be added in your data set, and then all the values present in the rows will be uppercased. So the difference between these two tabs and the options is under add column, a new column will be added and that particular function will be applied. But under transform tab, the function or the option that you will select will be applied on the same column that you have selected, right? So that is very important or difference between those two things, right? The transform tab and add column tab. Any questions till now?
No.
Meha, the header part you said, right? So, uh, for example, for the first one, it will get added. So how to change that header, Meha?
Okay, I'll talk about this. So what happens is as you insert like as you import your data sets, uh,
Mm.
the three steps, source,
Yeah.
promoted headers, and change type get applied by default, right? These are the
Yes.
default steps. So if I click on source, what I see, this is a M query. We call it as M query. We
Yeah.
don't have to write anything, write M query. This is something that is defaulted. As soon as you apply any step, there is, so M query is a like Power BI language, right? As we have SQL query in which we have to write like SQL language, similarly we have M query for Power BI, right? But we don't have to write M query. That's a very good part. Why? Because after
Mhm.
applying each of the step that we have, the M query is automatically generated, right?
Okay.
So the first applied step which gets which comes by default as soon as you import is source. What does it mean? Source is showing the file that I have imported is coming from where. So if you see, this is the location of my drive wherein I have stored
Stored
the data
CSV file.
CSV
Yeah.
file, right? So that is coming by default, and this M query is coming by default, right? Second step got applied, which is promoted headers, right? So
Yeah.
what happens as soon as you, if you see under source, we have in the below table, we have column 1, column 2, column 3 likewise, right? And the
Yeah.
product key, basically the column name is in first row, right? Which is not
Yes.
correct
Yes.
because these are the column name, right? So the second step, which is automatically applied, is promoted headers. So in promoted headers, what happens? The first row will become the header of any table, right?
Okay.
So this step is right now applied by default, but there is an option
Mm.
wherein you can also do this, wherein you
Okay.
see we have used first row as header, right? So that
Yeah.
will be that you can also select, and what it will do, it will make the first row as header. That is the function of that option, right? And
Mm.
that is the second step that gets applied by default. And the third step is changed type, right? So what does it mean? By change type, it is changing the data type of each of the column, right? Looking at the data set, it is assigning data type to each of the column. So these are the three steps that is applied by default, right? And then the other step that I showed, right? I will actually delete this right now, but these are the steps, whatever we will do, right? We did uppercase text, inserted uppercase text, all those things came here in the applied step, right? So to remove any of the steps, you can directly click on the cross button and it will go off. Okay. So is this clear till now? So basically we have three tabs: home tab, transform tab, and add column for
Add columns.
transformation of the data sets that you will import, right? These are the important ones. So clear till now?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we have actually imported and did the basic things, but what additional I want to show you here is, let's say I go to product size. Okay. So we have here, if you see, it's a mix of number and text, right? It's not something like this, which basically this one that you guys asked, right? In each of the row, we have values, which is a mixture of number and text, right? In here, under product size, what do we have? In one row, we have either number or or either text, right? So so which doesn't make sense that much. So that's why what I will do, I will remove it, right? You can keep it also, remove it also, but I'm removing it to show like how do we, what all are the options to remove a particular column. And this doesn't make sense also because we have mixed values over here, right? So I'm removing this particular column. How to remove it? So there are two options using which you can remove it. First one, you can go to the home tab, right? And then there is something called remove, remove columns, right? So you can go to home tab, remove column, and then click on remove columns, right? So if you see a step has been applied, removed columns, and now we don't have product size over here, right? The other step, the other way to remove it is you can directly right click on a particular column and remove it. I'll show you. Let me remove the applied step from here so that we get that column again. So we have product size. I can remove it the other way by right clicking. And as soon as you click right click, you will see an option of remove, right? So you click and remove and that column will be removed, right? So those are the two things by which you can remove a particular column. And once you remove it, applied step will come over here. So whatever changes you will make in your data set, any small changes, that will be captured as applied step over here, right? Let's say I want to sort my product key, right? So what we can do, whichever column you have to apply or make any changes, you have to select that column first. So I have selected this product key column. Then under home tab, we have sort button, right? I had showed you. We have sort ascending, sort descending. So I will sort it as ascending. Let's say I click sort, right? So this has been sorted in ascending order, and that step has been captured here under applied step, right? So these are the basic options that is available for transformation, right? I will talk about more options in when we import another data set. But for now, this data set looks good. We have multiple columns, rows. We have made changes in the name of the table. We see that the data type looks okay. We have sorted it. We have removed unnecessary columns, and this looks okay. So what I will do, once you are good with any table, you feel like it is proper, then you can go to the left side top under home button, we have an option called close and apply, right? So you can click on close and apply. What it will do, that change or that table is getting loaded in your dashboard, right? It is loaded and you can see that table towards right under field section in which all the columns or fields are available, right? These are the fields that is there that we have loaded. Under data view, also you can see that table, what we had in Power Query Editor. And under modeling view also, there will be one AW products lookup table will appear, right? So this is how we will import any of the data set, right? Any question, anyone?
No, Mia.
Becca?
Till now I'm clear.
No, I'm good.
Okay. So now what this is one of the data set that we have imported, basic transformations we have applied, right? Now we will work with text specific tools, right? So to do that, let me actually pull another data set, which is customer data set. So similar way, I will go to get data, click on text or CSV, and then I will pull in customer AdventureWorks customer CSV file. So once I click on this one, there is a preview page again that will open. And we have file origin, delimiter, data type, all these things. The another thing we will do is click on transform data, right? So a Power Query Editor page will open. Two steps that we will do is first is name change, right? As I mentioned, so I'll change the name of this one to AW customers lookup. Again, lookup, I'm making it as lookup table because this is purely uh, describing the characteristics of customer. Like we have all the information about customer. So that's why I'm uh, typing it as AW customer lookup, right? And then we will glance over, like we will scroll it and glance to the data type if it's making sense or not, right? So we have 1, 2, 3, we have ABC over here. Birth date is ABC. So we should make it date type, right? So I will make it as date because this one, or let me actually make it time. Okay, this is giving me error. Okay, under file options and setting, I'll quickly check if the so this that is coming because of the setting I think is not right now. Let me, yeah, see, under regional setting we have English India, so it's not taking the correct like the it is not converting the date type to date, like few error we are getting. So I'll change it to English United States for now. Let me see where is, let's say I apply this. Yeah. Yeah, now once I change this to date, everything is coming right, right? The option is very important. Setting is important. We have to make it US, English United States. So now this is date. So see, the default that we got was not looking correct to me, right? Because this is a date type. We have date over here, but it was showing me text. Although we have option of date, date time, all those things. So we have made that change over here, right? We have made it to date. Then what do we have? We have sorry. We have marital status, gender, email address looks okay. Then we have annual income, total children, education level, and occupation, and homeowner, right? Under annual income, we have numeric. So what we can do is we can actually change this to, let's say, whole number. And this came as 1, 2, 3, right? Because this is numeric, so it's better to have it as number. We don't have to make it as text, right? So these are few changes that we have done. Change the data type over here. And this this customer key is again 1, 2, 3, which makes sense. And others looks okay. Is it okay for you guys? Looks okay? Or you want me to change anything?
I think it looks okay.
Looks okay?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So now we are good with the data type. So yeah, so these are the two steps that we have to do while after importing. So as you see, this is a classic example, right? You imported it and then for few columns, the data type was not correct, right? So you have to do it manually, but for others it was correct. So just glance through your columns and see if everything is assigned correctly or properly or not, right?
Okay.
So once we have done this, then what we will do, we will proceed to transformation, table transformation. We will do few table transformation. So let's say I want under prefix, I want to make it as proper case. By proper case, what I mean is right now everything is in uppercase, right? So I want to make it like M capital and others small, right? So I can do it under transform tab and add column tab, right? So which tab I should select to make changes? Can you guys tell me? Like I have format and then this capitalize each word under transform tab also. And I have similar option under format, capitalize each word under add column tab. So which one should I select under add column or under transform? Which one will be better? What do you guys think?
Transform column will be better, right? Yeah, because we are doing for all the data,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
So transform column, because add column is one which the new column will be added if we choose that option.
Yeah, exactly. Becca,
Yeah,
are you clear?
yeah, I'm on the same page. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So if I do the add column, I will show you quickly and click on format and capitalize each word. What it does, it created a new column
New
and then
column.
it has capitalized. But I don't want that. Why do we want to create a new column for the same thing, right? There are no changes I am making into that column. Like we don't need any new column because we don't have any additional information in this column, right? What we are doing is we are just capitalizing it. So that's why what I will do, I have removed that applied step. We are back to the same thing. So we will make changes here in this same column, right? So for that, we will go to transform and then do the changes, right? So I will go to format and then do capitalize each word. And that has been done and a step has been added, capitalize capitalized each word under applied step, right? So good. I think you guys are following, so that's good. Similarly, we
Yeah.
will do it for first name and last name. So you can actually make like do say if you have to do the same thing for multiple columns, you can click on control and then select all the column. All the columns will be selected and you can make changes in one go. So I have selected first name, last name, went to transform tab under format. I am selecting capitalize each word. So see both for both the columns, it has been capitalized, right? So we are good. Now let's say I want to create a full name. So right now what is there? We have 3 columns. In one we have prefix as Mr. Mrs. Then we have first name, then we have last name. But let's say I want to combine all these 3 columns and create a full name. Let's say Mr. John Yang, right? So how to do that? So to create a combined column, we have to merge all these 3 columns, right? So that's what we have to do now, from where we will merge all these columns. So we will select all these 3 column, and then now since I want to create a full name, which which is a different column I want to create, wherein the name of that column will be full name and the value will be combination of values in all the 3 columns. So in this case, what I will do, I will go to the add column tab, right? Because I want to add a new column and create a full name. So I went to add column, and then there is an option called merge column, if you see, right? So you click on merge columns. So what it will do, it will merge all the 3 columns. Now merge on the basis of what? What is the separator? So I want to give separator as space. Let's say you can give anything, comma also, space, semicolon, multiple options are there. So let's say I choose space, right? And then they are asking like, what is the new column name, which is optional, but to make it readable and with for others also, I will change this name of the column. So I know that I am creating a column called as full name because I want to have the full name of a particular customer. So I'll give the name as full name over here. New column name as full name. As soon as I press OK, if you go towards right, one new column will be created saying full name. But see, this is not right because I selected Mr. in the third place. So I selected first name, last name, and then Mr. So that's why this is not giving me correct result. So I'll remove this, and then I will select from start. So first I'll select prefix, then first name, then last name. So what happened last time? I selected first name, then last name, then prefix. So it got merged in that way. So it merged it as John, Yang, Mr. But I want Mr. first, then John, then Yang. So I have to select first prefix, then first name, then last name, and repeat the step. So I'll go to add column, merge column. Under separator, I will select space, new column as full name, and press OK, right? So a new column has been created with name, full name, and you have values as combination of those 3 values, right? Which is Mr. John Yang, Mr. Ruben Tors, all those things, right? So this is how you can create a new column by merging values in other columns, right? Any question?
No.
Meha, you said that, for example, we have seen this merging option, right? So in the add column, the new column has been added, and the data which are separated, right? That will be there in the file.
Yes, exactly. Since we have created a new column, so the original column will be intact over here. So
Okay.
there will be, yeah.
N- why don't we do the this option in the transform option? Why don't we edit these 3?
Got it.
You
You can
understand? Yeah.
understood. Yeah. So you can do both ways. Either you can create, either you can do it from transform option or add column option. But I wanted to have those information over here because what happens is, let's say, uh, in some of the, we have last name here, right? So last name could be like for here, as you see, Yang. So multiple people will have Yang option, or will have Mehta option, or anything, right? Like, because this is the final surname of any of the name, right? So I wanted to retain that particular column over here because let's say later on we have some analysis saying that I want to have something based on the surname or last name of a particular customer. I want to see how many Yangs are there purchasing this or something like that. So I wanted to retain this particular column. That's why I have created a new column with full name, right? But
Okay.
if you don't want to retain these columns, then we could have done it through transform also. So
The
that should
same
not be.
steps in
Yeah,
under but under the transform
under the
option, right?
transform. So under the, yes, correct. So let me show you. If I select prefix, first name, last name, and under transform, you will have merge column,
Merge column. Yeah.
right? So if you do that merging under transform, then you will lose the original column that is available here. Prefix, first
Available.
and
Yeah.
last name, right? It will get combined and that will be only the column that you will see there. Then you will not have first name as a separate column, last name as a separate column. But I wanted to retain that. That's why I went into add column and created a new column.
Okay.
Okay. You can
Yeah.
do
Good.
either ways, but in this case, I wanted to retain those columns. That's why.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Any
Yeah.
after
questions?
we merge it, like, do I have to delete it, or is it gonna be both be kept?
We will keep both of them.
Mhm.
If we want, like, if you don't want this prefix first name, last name as a separate column, you could have done it like you could have selected it, went to go to transform and do merge column. And then there won't be any additional full name column, but you will lose the original 3 columns that is out there. I didn't want to lose those 3 columns. That's why I went to add column and selected the merging option, right? Because I wanted to retain these last columns. So I'll not delete these 3 columns right now. I'll keep it as is.
All right.
Okay. Uh, okay. So this is about the merging, and then we have something called extract. I will show you, let's say, pick email address. Okay. So under email address, let's say you want to create something else. Right now we have john24@adventureworks.com. So these are the email of each of the customer. Let's say somebody wants to know the username. By username, what I mean is somebody wants to extract John24 or Ruben35 likewise, right? So then you have to uh, extract these few letters from the email address, right? So how to do that? And you can do it 2 ways. Either you go to transform tab and click on extract, or you can go to add column and click on extract, right? Again, what I will prefer going to add column and do extract, because what will happen if I do it here under transform and go to extract and select any of the option, what will happen? I will lose the email address of that particular customer, but I don't want to do that. I want to retain email address, as well as I want to extract the username of each of these customers, right? So that's why I want to go to add column and then go to extract, select one option here. So what do we want to do? We want to select something text before delimiter, because I know that in each of the email address there will be a @ symbol, right? So I will select text before delimiter because I want in each of the email address, whatever text is available before @ give me that text, because that will we will treat that as username of each of the customer. So I will click on text before delimiter. The delimiter would be @ in this case. There are few options, advanced options that is there. Scan for the delimiter from the start of the input, right? or from the end of the input. I'm good with the from the start of the input. Number of delimiters to skip 0. So we don't want to skip any of the delimiter. This is the first delimiter that I have selected. There is only one delimiter that is there in the email address. So it's okay. We don't have to change anything under advanced option. We are good with delimiter as at the rate. We will click OK. And then a new column will be created saying John 24, Eugen 10, Ruben 35, all these, right? So I wanted the email address as well as the text before delimiter, which will treat as username, right? So that's why I went to add column and selected extract from there instead of selecting it from transform. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Okay.
Neha, we have added the new column of email addresses, right? According just now. So when it gets added, the serial numbers will be the same, right? It will not go up and because when when we use Excels also, right? When we try to add the column, the data will be misplaced when we add the columns according to the serial. Will that get changed here or it will be
No,
the same? Yeah.
no, that will not change. That will not change. That
Okay.
is a very good question. So basically what happens is as soon as you add any column, so the value inside each of the rows depends on what value is present in each of the row under email address, right? So the
Yeah.
values in each of the rows 1 2 3 4, whatever you see, the order that is there here, depending on that order, the data will get extracted and this will be in the same order. If you are not sorting or changing any order, the order will be intact. There will be no change in the order.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So we have these uh, username, and you can rename also the columns. So right now it's by default, it's taking text before delimiter because we had selected that option, but this is not actually that understandable. We don't know what does this column signifies, right? So what we will do, we will to make changes or rename any column, you can double click on the column header and it will be highlighted as an editable option and you can edit it. Give the name as per your choice. I will give it as username. Hit enter and see, as soon as I changed it, a step has been applied saying renamed columns, right? So now we have one more column over here saying username. So what all we have done, we have capitalized each word, we have inserted merged column, which is like full name. We have inserted text before delimiter. We have renamed that column. So these are the basic uh, options that is available for text specific tools, we call it, because we have applied all these on the text columns, right? So all these extract and format, saying capitalize, uppercase, lowercase, these you can do on any text column, right? So that's why we call it as text specific tools. These are text specific tools because these can be applied only to the text columns, right? One thing also I wanted to show is, let's say I select prefix, right? If I go to transform or even add column, you see merge column is not highlighted, right? So why it's not highlighted? Because we have selected only one column. So this Power BI is very smart. It will highlight only those options which can be applicable at this point of time, right? We can't merge only prefix, like what we will do with only prefix column. If I select prefix and first name, see merge columns got highlighted, right? In transform tab also merge column got highlighted. But if you select only one column, merge column won't be highlighted. So depending on the way we select any particular column, only the relevant options will be highlighted in any of the ribbon. So that is the way it is designed. So since this is a text column, you see all the number related options. Uh, this is not highlighted. This is not activated right now, right? Because Power BI knows we can't make or do any kind of calculation on this column, numeric calculation on this column, right? We can't actually do any uh, addition or subtraction or any kind of those calculations. So that's why that's not highlighted. That's grayed out, right? But as soon as I click on customer key, see, these has been highlighted. So that's how it works. Okay, so that is one thing I wanted to highlight. And I think we are good with this table. We have made the changes in the name. We have looked into data types. We have made multiple transformations, merged columns, changed data type, renamed columns, added a column, all those things, right? So if this looks okay, what we can do is we will go to Home tab, click on Close and Apply. So as soon as you hit on Close and Apply, that table will get loaded into your this report view, right? So you see the second table that just now we imported is customer lookup, right? So all the columns, annual income, birth date, email address, first name, occupation, everything is here. You can see this in the data view also. So similarly, we have customer lookup wherein all those customer related information is present, right? And then you can go to model view. The other table that came is customer lookup. Right now, so later on we will talk about the relationship and all those, but as soon as you import any of the tables, that will start appearing in your model view. In fact, in all the views, right? You can see it in data view and you can see it in a report view towards right. Right? So these are the two data sets that we have imported. Tomorrow we will talk about a new data set, which will mostly talk about the number specific tools. And then if time permits, we will talk about how to create a calendar table and what is the significance of calendar table, right? So for today, I think we are good. Any questions before we wrap up?
No, ma'am. I'm clear with the session.
Okay.
Yeah,
Becca?
yeah, me too. Yeah, me too.
Okay, good. Then I think we are good for today. We will connect tomorrow, same time. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
Meha, before we close the session, I have downloaded the Power BI. So I
Uh-huh.
have done each and every step that we have done yesterday.
Mhm.
So what? 1 second, Meha. So in the options and settings, I got stuck there.
Okay, let me
You
actually
said
help you. Yeah, 1 minute.